stop what you're doing. Every extra minute you work might actually be costing you money. The truth about modern hustle culture is more alarming than you've been told. Watch this video to uncover the hidden dangers of working harder. Why work harder no longer works. For decades, the idea that hard work equals financial success shaped the way people approach their jobs and lives. In the past, this belief made sense. A steady job could support a family, pay for a home, and cover the basics on a single income. But the landscape has changed. Today, the expectation that more hours will lead to more money often leaves people feeling stuck, exhausted, and no closer to real security. The problem starts with how the economy now values work. While productivity and technology have soared, wages haven't kept up with the rising costs of essentials like housing, healthcare, and education. According to data from the Federal Reserve and Census, wage growth has lagged behind inflation for decades. This means that even as people put in more hours, their paychecks don't stretch as far as they used to. Everyday expenses eat up a bigger share of income, making it harder to save or get ahead, no matter how much effort you put in. Hustle culture only adds to the pressure. Messages about grinding and no days off fill social media and workplace conversations, pushing the idea that success comes from constant effort. But for most people, the reality is back-to-back shifts, side gigs, and little to show for it. Studies have found that productivity per hour actually drops after about 50 hours of work per week. At 60 hours, Stanford researchers recorded a 1/3 decline in productivity, meaning each extra hour is worth less and can even cut into your effective wage. This is where the concept of leverage comes in. Leverage means using tools, skills, or resources to multiply the impact of your work. For example, someone who creates an online course or writes code that sells repeatedly is earning money from the same effort over and over. By contrast, most workers are paid by the hour, so each additional hour only brings in a fixed amount. When you're stuck in roles that don't allow for leverage, pouring in more hours just maintains your position as costs rise around you. It's not just about pay rates. Americans now work about 450 more hours per year than their German counterparts, according to OECD data. Yet both countries have similar GDP per capita. That means US workers are putting in extra time, often unpaid, just to keep pace. Add in long commutes, unpaid overtime, and the expectation to always be available. And it's clear that effort alone isn't enough to move the needle. The costs of living keep climbing too. Essentials like rent, medical bills, and tuition have increased much faster than average wages. Even when people take on more work, the gains are often wiped out by higher expenses or the need to pay for convenience just to survive a hectic schedule. For many, working longer hours can actually make financial decisions harder, like relying on takeout or high-interest loans because there's no time or energy left to plan ahead. This cycle can lead to lifestyle inflation, where spending rises alongside income, leaving little room for real progress. In some jobs, especially gig work, the challenges are even more pronounced. Platform fees and unpaid wait time eat into the extra money workers hope to earn. The promise of flexibility often hides a system where people burn through their own resources, like car maintenance or fuel, without any real safety net. Instead of building wealth, many find themselves treading water, wondering why their hard work doesn't pay off. The law of diminishing returns explains a lot of this frustration. After a certain point, each additional hour of work brings less benefit and more stress. If working overtime means spending more on childcare, transportation, or healthcare from burnout, the extra income gets canceled out. The system is set up so that effort alone rarely leads to lasting financial improvement. So if working harder isn't the answer, what can actually make a difference? The real solution requires a shift in strategy, one that goes beyond simply adding more hours to your week. How to escape the work harder trap. A graphic designer who automates repetitive tasks can deliver 3 times the work in the same hours. This isn't just a neat productivity trick. It's a real-world example of how escaping the work harder trap starts with leveraging your skills instead of stretching your hours. Many people default to saying yes to every project or shift, believing it's the only way forward. But research shows that after 50 hours of work per week, each additional hour actually yields 1/3 less output. That means pushing yourself harder. It often leads to more mistakes, slower progress, and even health risks like higher rates of stroke and heart disease. The key is to focus on building skills and assets that increase the value of your time. For instance, investing in new certifications, learning advanced tools in your field, or developing specialized knowledge can directly boost your hourly rate. Take cognitive behavioral interventions as another example. Studies show that this kind of training can improve your focus and reduce burnout, raising your productivity without adding extra hours. Even less obvious skills like emotional intelligence have a big impact. Data suggests that EQ affects net worth more than IQ because it helps you solve problems, lead teams, and negotiate better pay or conditions. Negotiation is a powerful tool for getting unstuck. Rather than staying in a job with little room for growth, consider switching roles or seeking out collective bargaining opportunities. Workers who change jobs strategically often see bigger wage increases than those who simply wait for annual raises. Employers tend to reward fresh skills and results over seniority alone. In some industries, unions and collective bargaining have helped workers claim a larger share of the value they create, offering a real path out of flat wages and long hours. Making your money work for you is another essential step. Passive income might sound like a buzzword, but it's rooted in simple math. If you invest $100 every month, those small contributions can compound over time, eventually building a financial cushion. Brookings research highlights that many low-income workers struggle to build any savings because volatile earnings get eaten up by daily expenses. This is why even modest, regular investments can outpace overtime pay, which often disappears as quickly as it's earned. Getting started doesn't require a huge leap. Small, practical steps add up. You might take an affordable online course to gain a sought-after skill, automate part of your side hustle to free up your schedule, or direct any extra cash into a basic investment account. The goal is to gradually shift from spending all your energy on immediate needs to building assets and systems that support you in the long run. It's also worth rethinking what progress looks like. Instead of measuring success by how many hours you put in, look at how much value you create in each hour. Can you develop a product, template, or service that sells repeatedly? Could you transition from one-off gigs to roles with recurring revenue? These shifts might feel uncomfortable at first, but the risk of staying locked into endless overtime is often greater than the risk of trying something new. Ultimately, building assets and negotiating power changes how you interact with work and money. When you focus on increasing your value and creating systems that generate income independently, you step outside the old cycle of trading time for money. Instead of doubling down on effort in a system designed to keep you running in place, you start to reclaim control.
So ultimately, what?
Working harder isn't failing. It's the system working exactly as designed. The modern economy rewards extraction, not effort, with most gains flowing upward, while workers are left with less. But you can step out of this pattern by changing how you approach work. Instead of pouring more hours into the same tasks, focus on building leverage. Automate a key part of your job to save time, and put any extra income into investments that grow on their own. You have more power than you realize when you shift your energy from endless hours to long-term value. Change begins with smarter choices. Remember, every hour you work at the old game only fuels the trap. Use your time instead to build leverage.